Hi guys, just thought I'd share another book that I made. Only this time, this is not a junk journal. It's actually just all fabric samples. So my idea was kind of along the lines of, when you order a lounge or sofa, if you're in America, they've got these samples there of fabric books that you can look through and pick which colour fabric or what type of fabric you want the lounge upholstered in. So it was kind of along the lines of that. And I was just thinking back to when, before my kids moved out of home, I didn't have a lot of room to craft, and I kind of just had these two little shelves in a wardrobe, and so I couldn't really fit a lot of stuff. So I didn't have a lot of fabrics, and those fabrics I did have, there wasn't a lot of space to store them or anything like that. So it's kind of along the lines of that. If you need little pieces of fabric to put into your junk journals, then you can just have a book sitting on a shelf and then flip through and just snip a little piece out whenever you need it, rather than try and store fabric somewhere that you maybe don't have the room. So it's kind of along the lines of that. And since I had so many blue fabrics, I thought I'd just make one with all blue tones in there. So there's 50 in there, and I've called this 50 Shades of Blue. It's a bit tongue-in-cheek. And on the front, it's a really bit of a dark day here in Australia. It's really windy and overcast. So there's not much light coming in. But what I've done is I've taken some of the fabrics that are actually in the book. I've just done a little collage, I don't know what you'd call it, quilt collage. They're all stitched down of some of the fabrics, some of the samples that are in there, and with a wide lace trim back. Oops. Okay, so I'll just do a little flip through the type of fabrics that are in there. It's just got a string closure. This was an old, not a belt, but it was an old dress of my grandmother's that had a kind of tie around the waist, kind of like a belt, but it was just sort of a string thing. So it's just got a camera, yeah. So it's just got a plain fabric blue inside, front and back cover with some lace. And the first sample of the fabric, I actually put a piece of that lace. It's really, really pretty. I don't know if you can see it. It's really old. I found a whole roll of it at this recycle place we've got here in Sydney, where textile companies and all that, or manufacturers donate. It's called reverse garbage. It's a not-for-profit organisation, and companies donate surplus random stuff. You find the most random stuff there. You could find like mannequins or embroidery fabric or old photos, or could be anything. It's really different every time you go there. So I found a whole roll of this beautiful old lace on there, and it had a little tag in there, a docket 1962, but I don't know if that was just in the bag or if it was actually for the fabric, but I think it was. It does look really old. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see the fabrics a bit closer. So that's just some lace, some cotton flowers, This one's really beautiful. This is, I wish you, I don't know if you can see, but it's really shimmery. It's really, really gorgeous fabric. It's got black flowers in the background. It's just gorgeous, gorgeous fabric. If you're in Australia, you'll know who these little guys are. Parakeets. They're everywhere around our area. And I can't film in the mornings actually because they're out the window screaming. This fabric is, it's actually florals. I don't know if it shows the right colour on camera, but it's actually a really dark blue and it's shimmery. And it's got, it feels like lace on top. The flower pattern isn't printed on. It's actually, I don't know, it feels lacy on top. Sorry, I've got little bits of cotton everywhere. This is some blue knit fabric. This is really old too. This was from my grandmother's. Actually, a lot of these fabrics were from my grandmother's sewing pile. She was a really good seamstress. She's passed away now, but she had heaps of fabrics and yarn, which I inherited from her. This one here, this has got little diamantes. They're leaves. It's hard to tell. Oh, I think you can see there. It's really, really pretty. Some blue. This is cute. This has got little gardening little people. Reminds me of strawberry shortcake dolls for some reason. Little doggies. Patterned. This is really nice. That's like that pattern. It's quite common, I think, back in the 70s, but some shiny blue. Angels. This is I'm not sure, but the texture, I don't know my fabrics, okay? Unless it's cotton, I don't know. But this, it's really it's, I don't know, but it's really textured. It's kind of bumpy on top. This is a shiny material. This one, it's got little, it feels like little knit bits on top. It's really bumpy. It feels like braille. But it's not on the back. I don't know, it's strange. Florals. Patterns. This is a light blue. Okay, some I kind of cheated. This has got blue in it, but it's not actually blue. It's got blue stripes though, but it was really pretty. I thought I'll put it in. And that is cotton. That's probably the only one I know. This is some shimmery fabric. You can see through. This is really good. Actually, I use this sort of fabric to make flowers because it melts really well if you put it over a candle flame. And this kind of feels like this, except a lot thicker. This is a blue grey fabric. It's got green and black flowers on it. Some sort of silky blue fabric. Some blue cotton. This is really pretty. This is really I don't know, it's kind of stretchy. Looks like that kind of tie-dyeing fabric. That's pretty. I love this. Polka dots. Those are little pictures of leaves. Images of leaves. Some sheer fabric. This one's really pretty. I don't know if you can see, but it's shiny. And it reminds me of wallpaper. Oh, speaking of wallpaper, from that reverse garbage place, I bought these 3 huge wallpaper sample books that I have to show you. They're gorgeous, and this kind of reminds me of the pattern in there. This reminds me of fat old lady dresses. The pattern, you know how they always make them those ugly patterns. I actually like the ugly patterns in junk journals though. They look really good if you do you know, little quilty or collagey blocks. This is a really textured, bumpy kind of knit fabric. Kind of, the little bumpy bits are a bit glimmery, but I don't know if you can catch it on camera. Feathers. Stars. One. Those are little bow ties. Small polka dots. This is really pretty. This is old fabric. It's my grandmother's as well. Little flowers. That's cotton. Feels like some kind of felty fabric. I think they might call it minky, but no, not minky. I don't know. I think minky is fluffy both sides, but kind of feels like that. Strange pattern. Oh, this is awesome. I don't know if you remember those really old curtains in the late 70s and early 80s that they used to always have in kitchens. And my grandmother used to make all her own tablecloths, linens, you know, fabric napkins, dresses, everything. Curtains was one of the things she made as well. And she had heaps of this old curtain material. It's so awesome. I love it. I remember we had yellow curtains in this little pattern or style as well when we were young. I don't know what you could do with this, but I'm sure creative people out there will come up with something. Some blue satin and some plain blue check, and that's it. So there's 50 little samples in there. You can chop little pieces off as you go, and I actually cut enough fabric to make 2, so there's another one in the works. And I also cut some green fabric, so I was planning to do 2 little books, 50 Shades of Blue, and then 2 books, 50 Shades of Green, because I've got a lot of green pattern fabric as well. But in the meantime, I'll pop this little one in my Etsy store, and when the other guys are finished as well, I'll let you know in a future video. And I've also got some other little textile packs, including doilies, laces, wedding dress appliques, and that sort of things, that I'm preparing, that I'll also show in a video over the next few days. This one is quite big. The book cover is made out of an old encyclopedia, and the measurements, where's my ruler? Okay, so this is about, oh god, this ruler's too long. Okay, so this is about 22 centimeters wide. Inches, what's that? 1 centimeter is about 0.4, so it's about 8.5 to 9 inches. Oh, don't quote me that. I'm so hopeless on inches. I don't know how anyone uses inches. So 22 centimeters, yeah, about 8.5 to 9 inches. But I'll put the exact calculations in the description in Etsy. And long, it's about 28 centimeters, which is 0.4, about 11 inches. And the spine, okay, my inches are probably completely wrong, is 4 centimeters. Okay, that's easy. 0.4 inches to a centimeter, so that's 1.5 inch spine. Okay, that's it. I hope you like it. I'll see you later. Bye.